This is Leon Matthews for Res Ramblings, rambling about the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. And I have a little story for you. On June 9th, 2012, we had a march for Wally Black Elk and Ron Harthart. And there's a lot of people gathered, and they drove all the way from different places, Albuquerque, Iowa, Illinois, different places, and they came together in Pine Ridge, and they were marching for justice for the two men that were killed, Wally and Ron. And a lot of people gathered, American Indian movement with the flag. There's even horsemen, women, children, young people. They were all walking to White Clay, Nebraska. And there was quite a few people, maybe a couple hundred people, and one pickup had a baby carriage in the back with some flags, and my friend George was sitting up there waving at me as he drove by. And there was a lot of people that came to Pine Ridge to march against. There were even Christians, and there was also, they were entering Nebraska, the good life, and they were marching against the injustices that were done to these two men. But there was also an ulterior motive for Deep Green Resistance, and we're going to be talking about that. But they went there, and they gave an eviction notices to the bars, and there was only one bar owner that came outside, and he was protesting the protesters, and he was taking pictures of them as people were taking pictures of him. But they put up the eviction notice and a sign that said that they had 30 days and to stop selling the poison to the people, and they did this to all four of the beer establishments. There were a couple grocery stores, but they didn't bother them because they don't sell beer. But Arrowhead Inn, State Line Liquor, Pioneer, and Jumping Eagle. And so there were people that gathered there, and they were very upset, and they were one woman even kicked one of the doors of the beer establishment. And so there was tension in the air. The sheriff's department was in White Clay. The highway patrol was there. There were some angry Indians. Looked like there were some angry white people, and people were wearing bandanas, and there was a lot of tension there. And I thought, this is an opportunity, because I felt like when I heard, people were saying no fear, and they were going up there to make a statement, and so they basically put the eviction notices on there. But the most interesting thing about this time is that they weren't all Indian. I mean, in the past, in '99, years past, it's been mostly Native people, and then I know that Nebraskans for Peace was often there in White Clay protesting as well. But this particular Saturday, there was some non-Indians there, and they basically chained themselves together and sat down on the highway, the state highway. And the sheriff told them, "You're not going to stay here. You can't stay here." And they sat there, and the sheriff confronted them, but nothing ever really happened from that. So, and then they weren't really stopping anything. So they were on the south end of the little village, White Clay, and so they got up and they started marching back to the other side, and so they sat down. Our vice president, Tom Porbear was there. Nebraskans for Peace. They made statements, but it was really interesting because the sheriff had no fear, and it looked like it could turn violent at any point, and there were people there willing to go to jail, and that was the most interesting thing. There were warriors there. There were people there that were willing to march for justice, all for Wally Black Elk and Ron Harthart. And just a number of people were there, and I wanted to show you the pictures because, I wanted you to see, what I saw that day. And there was a lot of people that were protesting, the beer sales and just the injustices against White Clay. The chief showed up, Oliver Red Cloud. He came, and he actually told the young people, the non-Indian people, that the Great Sioux Nation Treaty Council was behind them, and he is the chief of the Treaty Council. So, and I believe he's the chief of all of it. And so he actually was there, and he lent his support, and it was really kind of a cool thing, to see the 94-year-old chief come out and say, we've tried different things, and he praised them, and he let them know that he was behind the people, and from Deep Green Resistance and some Lakota. And so basically, there was the highway patrol, the state troopers were there. They took one guy to jail because he was fighting another guy. He was pretty belligerent, so they put him in a trooper car, and the day just kept going on, and it started around 12:30, right around just after 12, and they got up to White Clay, probably close to 1 or so, and it took all afternoon, and Alex White Plume was there, and he's also part of the Treaty Council, and he came out, and then Tom Porbear comes back out, after going to feed the people down at Camp Justice. He actually comes back, and he's talking to them, and there was even some entertainment with the hacky sacker, and so it was kind of an interesting day. They were buying water at first, and then the stores decided that they weren't going to sell them any water, and so it started getting hotter and hotter, and it was probably like close to 5:30 when things start winding down. But Tom Porbear actually sat down, and he got chained to the people as well, as public safety from Pine Ridge was there, state troopers from Nebraska. But the leader told me it's not over until we go to jail. That was his end result. But they sat there in the hot sun. And these were white people, white kids, white youth. It looked like there was an older lady there, but I wanted to show you these pictures because there was no media there from local newspapers or anything. But I mean, these were kids that came, and they were risking their freedom to go to jail. They started to talk to the sheriff and negotiate a deal. There was even one tribal person, that advocate that works in a courthouse in Pine Ridge, and there were people that they were brokering a deal. And basically what happened was, the end result for today on June 9th was that they were going to meet within 2 weeks, and I don't know who was going to meet, but I don't know if DGR was coming back, but there's surely clouds over Pine Ridge. And I took a picture, and it just shows that there were some storm clouds looming over White Clay, Nebraska, with state troopers and ready, and and they didn't know what to do, but basically, I really got the feeling that they weren't going to take any white people to jail. And sitting on a highway, they were breaking the law, but they chose not to. They chose to wait them out, and so the troopers won that day. And on the other side, the public safety from Pine Ridge was there, which I felt was really cool because they were witnessing. But DGR decided that, okay, they're going to walk on the side of the road, and they're going to walk back across to the res line into Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and it says Nebraska, the good life. And they come back, and they run into who? Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And so they decide that they're going to join Mothers Against Drunk Driving, which was really kind of interesting. And so they marched for Camp Justice and Wally Black Elk and Ron Harthart, and then they come back and they walk back to Pine Ridge, and they join Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And so it was really kind of an interesting day. But, you know, it's all there, and, you know, I hope that you enjoyed this. But, you know, I think the bottom line is that the DGR, Deep Green Resistance, did not go to jail, and they were white young people in their 20s, and, you know, most of them, and nobody went to jail that day. And they were trying to make a statement, and the authorities from Nebraska just waited them out, and they won. So I hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully we'll have more Res Ramblings, and we'll see what happens. You guys have a great day, and wish you well.